Hello, my name is Bart Brecka. I work at a product development company where we maintain a group of mechanical engineers, industrial designers to work on projects. We also operate a school where we teach other professionals what we do. We also maintain a blog. The blog has been around since before blog was a word. Today I'm going to build a series of models that we started in previous videos. The idea is, do we start building this shape from the side view or do we build it from the top view? In previous videos I built it from the side, and in this video I'm going to build it straight down. So I'm going to build I'll first turn on the data planes and establish a plane that I want to sketch upon. I think about it in terms of what view do I want in my detail drawing. So the idea is to start maybe with this shape. I'm going to hold down and fully define the sketch. My thought is, I don't really care about how big this thing is. It's a printer chain. I'll go ahead and refresh my memory on the sketch, so I'll do that with our participant login. I'll scroll down to the SolidWorks Training, and the block that I'm working on is number 16, so I'll just scroll down to 16. I'm thinking, it's got to have draft on it, but at this moment I don't know exactly how it's going to be manufactured. Is it just 3D printed at this moment? So I'm going to build this shape here. I'll build this to the left and the Y shape. So in SolidWorks, I'll just establish that geometry and use my power trim to kind of bite out the portions that are unnecessary. If you do make a mistake, you can cross back over that red dot to undo your mistake there. So I need to establish symmetry, so I'll go ahead and drop down a center line. I tend to build my center lines off the page a little bit, so I'm a little bit more mindful that that's what I'm in fact grabbing. I'll hold the control key down to establish the vertices, and then symmetry unveils itself. All right, so the other side I'll do the same thing, but this one I'll power trim out the portion, so I'm leaving a post, and I hit the escape button quite a bit to allow for my pointer to do work. So I think it's helpful to just hit escape often. All right, so this post is going to slide into this one, so he needs to be just a little bit smaller than the other one. So it kind of makes sense to dimension this geometry in such a way. So instead of moving my mouse over here to grab the dimension command, I'm going to hold down and grab the mouse, the dimension tool out of this pop-up window. Quite a bit faster. I grew up racing motorcycles, so for me it's always about optimizing my time. How can I pack the trailer faster? How can I get around the track faster? So finding little time savings can be extraordinarily helpful. Since I have symmetry going in this direction, I'm simply going to establish my dimension here. So do I want to control the hole or the post? So those are things that I think are really helpful to think about. I think maybe I want to control the post, and if this is 2 millimeters larger, then I have a 4 millimeter gap in the other geometry, and these are things that I'm able to change later. So you don't technically have to check out of a sketch in SolidWorks to extrude something. You can just hold down and reach for extrude, And as you explore ways to move faster and think more clearly in SolidWorks, consider customizing this pop-up window to accommodate your needs. So I can edit definition on the function. I can click in the graphics window and edit definition on the feature. In this case, I can hold down and say, you know what, I meant to hit mid plane. Most folks will come over here and pick mid plane, and it's just quite a bit slower. So I like to try to push people to get out of their element and try new things. So the typical R&D engineer is going to build a full round here. So I'll establish the round. I'm going to use this option for the round. Pick one. And instead of moving my mouse over here to kind of, move, I say move across Africa to fetch that geometry, what I would have you do is left click here, grab the round tool out of the user. Whoops, I meant to do it this way. Grab the face. So grab the face. Notice my right mouse button is asking me to right click. Notice it went to the second selection. So if you can be mindful of these things, you're going to move a lot faster through the user interface. Now I think this is a little bit of a mistake, because if I build my assembly, you've noticed in previous videos where if I build my assembly relative to this cylindrical wall and I delete the cylindrical wall, I'm going to have to deal with some failures. So it can be a little bit of a challenge. Because of the round that I built previously, I would think it would automatically default on the one that I picked previously. I'm noticing some inconsistencies. I'll pick this one. I'll pick this one. So I'll do the same thing to the other side just to test my theory. It doesn't seem to remember that I need to be in which mode I'm in. So in terms of consistency, I would appreciate that. So I'm practicing my selection sets. All right, so if I pick this one, my right mouse button's indicating to click it. It jumped to the next selection. That's pretty fast. All right, now if I build an assembly out of this thing, I have to save it first, right? I'll call it block 16. C. And then I'll establish an assembly and bring in block 16. So typically, I find it kind of annoying how SolidWorks users will leave an F at the top here. So what does F stand for? Fix, float, right? So I'm going to go ahead and turn on my coordinate systems. I'm going to hold down here and float the thing. Okay, now he's moved out some. All right, I can move the part around in the assembly. All right, so I can see my original coordinate system here for the assembly and the coordinate system for the part, and then I'll paperclip that together. All right, so it was off the page. That's a very different way to, now I have absolute and utter confidence that my part is established to the coordinate system. Now, fix was fixed at the coordinate system, but now I don't have the F in front of it. So I think that's helpful. So I'll go ahead and establish an assembly. So what I was worried about is if I establish this reference and then end up deleting that reference later, I'm going to have to reestablish my entire assembly and call it empathetic towards your coworker or what have you. Somebody else might be managing this assembly. right? And I don't want to have to reestablish everything. But this is an exercise. So Control C, Control V lets me copy one. I'm going to delete that. Also, you can hold the Control key down. I'm going to delete one. Yeah, it's about how you grab the geometry. You can't. SolidWorks users tend not to grab things out of the graphics window, which I find a little bit annoying. But coming from other CAD tools, usually you can grab out of the graphics window and get the same thing sort of done as grabbing it out of the geometry over here. So I still have to reestablish my references. In other CAD tools, it'll let you organize those references kind of on the fly, which can be, more efficient, I suppose. All right, so there's my pseudo assembly. I'll exercise the geometry to see if I have established my references like I like it. Notice there's a minus sign on these geometries. The minus sign is indicative of that I didn't fully define the references. I didn't necessarily care about its rotation, and I did that on purpose so I could, flex the mechanism as if it were an actual chain on the printer table, the CNC. All right. So in the subsequent video, I'm going to add draft to the geometry, and I'm going to have to deal with the failures in the assembly. An expert level status. So if you come to Design Engine for training, we're primarily missioned to help your team become experts in SolidWorks. And we like to say that we would never tell somebody that we are in fact an expert. We want other people to say that we're experts. So consider taking a course at Design Engine. Thank you for your time.